Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Today we are going to have a look at an Unarmed Berserker build. The goal for this one was very simple. I wanted something to do good damage and not die constantly, and I think I've got something that works actually pretty well. So let's start with the legendary perks. Now I did this from the perspective of a brand new player, someone that doesn't have access to all the legendary perk slots. So what I have is a character that is currently level 76, and at that level you would have 2 slots open, and that's what I went with. So we have Hack and Slash upgraded to rank 3. I will be using melee as much as possible, and that extra area of effect damage is very helpful. And what rads? The reason for that is I don't want to have to deal with rads, and also radiation lowers your health bar, it eats into your health bar, and with this kind of build I want to have as much health as I can so that I can survive longer. So I have Traveling Pharmacy, that's definitely needed because I do carry quite a few stim packs. And in this case, I am playing unarmed, so I will use Iron Fist, which is punching attacks. Unarmed is your gauntlet weapons, Deathclaw Gauntlet, Mole Miner Gauntlet, Settler's Gauntlet, Power Fist, Meat Hook, Knuckles. I think that's all of them. Oh, Bare Arm, Agua Gauntlet. Those are all your unarmed weapons. Obviously Bare Fist as well, but we're going to actually use a weapon. Now, if you wanted to use this with a regular melee, like a one-handed or two-handed, you could just slot in like 1 rank of all the Slugger perks or 1 rank of all the Gladiator perks. It would work basically the same. I do have Blocker because I am up close and personal with my enemies and I will be taking a lot of hits, and we want to mitigate that as much as possible. I do have Incisor for armor penetration. And Martial Artist. Now, Martial Artist works for melee weapons, and that includes unarmed weapons. If you decide to do the Bare Fist route, it doesn't work for that. For whatever reason, this does not speed up the swing speed of a Bare Fist, but any kind of melee weapon, this works for that. And I actually do use Concentrated Fire. Really, the only reason for that is if I need to make a Scorch Beast land, I do use a shotgun, and being able to target the wings is very helpful. Adamantium Skeleton under Endurance. Getting a crippled limb when you're playing melee can be really a pain in the butt, so want to avoid that. And damage from explosions. That is another thing we can't do it with armor. We can't use the dense chest piece because I am doing this with no armor. There are other ways to do a Berserker build. You can do it with broken armor, which is kind of problematic because of scout banners. They can actually repair your armor, and if someone opens a scout banner around you, you have no control over that. So broken armor is not necessarily the way I would ever do this. You can also do it using level 1 armor. Use light leather level 1 armor, and then have a couple of addictions. Keep your damage resistance at 0. That's another way to go. But I want to do this with no armor at all, just to see how it would go. Now, if I were to keep this character going, my next legendary perk would probably be Endurance, and I would like to use Ghoulish. I think it would pair very nicely with What Rads. There are certain events like Scorched Earth or Test Your Metal where there can be a lot of radiation, and having something that keeps your radiation away and also heals you at the same time, so Ghoulish and What Rads, that combo, can be very effective. Normally I do play on a team. I won't be doing it for this video because I am on a server by myself, but if I was on a team, Strange in Numbers, that would definitely give a big boost to the character with mutations. And I normally would, well, at this level, I'd probably run Inspirational because I'm still trying to level the character, but for the purposes of the video, I'll use Tenderizer since there is no teammate. You do need a teammate to run Inspirational, or for Inspirational to actually do anything. So Tenderizer for a little bit of extra damage. Makeshift Warrior so we can mod our weapons and they don't wear out as quickly. AP is actually pretty important to the build, so Action Boy to have our AP come back as quickly as possible. Marathoner, we can't lower the cost of sprinting with our armor, so we are doing it with a perk card, so we can just sprint longer without running out of AP. We do rely on food. If you are playing a melee character, food can really boost your character a lot, so I want to reduce the weight of that. Now, what I would probably do eventually would be the Grocer's Backpack mod. I haven't unlocked that yet for this character, so this is the way I'm going, but at some point I'll probably swap out that perk and just have the mod on my backpack. I do have a shotgun, like I mentioned before, and this is so I can cripple a Scorched Beast wing if I need to do so. Born Survivor, we definitely need this. We don't have any armor, and we will take damage. This is not some godly build that won't take any kind of damage, so we want the stim packs to just be kind of automatic. We don't want to have to deal with it manually, so stim packs automatic, Born Survivor will keep you alive very frequently. And Dodgy, this is a little difficult on this one. We do use VATS on this character, and we have Dodgy, so that at times we will actually run out of AP, but Dodgy will really reduce the amount of damage that we take. So yeah, this makes the build work a lot better. Bloody Mess for a little bit of extra damage. This is something if you want to swap out, you could put in Class Freak instead. I only have one mutation that's given me any kind of downside that I would worry about. So for me, I'd rather just have the extra damage. Ricochet. Now I won't be using a vampire weapon. If I was, the combination of Ricochet and a vampire is very powerful. But even without a vampire weapon, this will still deflect back a few shots, and it's just damage avoidance. And anything we can do to avoid damage, we want to take advantage of that. Starch genes because I'm running mutations, and I want to keep them. And I am running a food build, so good with salt will keep my food from spoiling. At least it will spoil very slowly. So far, mutations, we have Twisted Muscles, an extra 25% melee damage, plus a chance to cripple. It affects gun accuracy, but that's not really a big deal for us. We have Talons, and this one works for unarmed. It's 25% more unarmed damage, plus bleed damage. So that is one advantage that unarmed is going to have over one-handed or two-handed, is we do get the bonus from Talons. Now we do lose 4 points of agility, so this is one area where you might want to use Class Freak to reduce that to -1, but for us, it's fine. Speed Demon, extra movement speed, it obviously isn't going to affect swing speed, reload speed doesn't matter, so just running around is a little quicker. We have Herd Mentality, so we're getting an extra +2 for our specials. If we had a teammate, that could be +3. And Carnivore, because we do want to eat meat foods. With melee characters, just in general, the buffs you get from melee are gigantic, so we definitely want to take advantage of that as much as possible. And for our food buffs, now some of these are just buffs of opportunity, they're foods I happen to have, but there are some that you always want to run as a melee character in general. You want something that increases strength, and you want something that increases melee damage. And in this case, I have other ones, and I'll show you what I do for food, where I go for it. So for our strength, we want to use Deathclaw Wellington. That is the best strength bonus you can get. So that is +6. If I was on a team with someone in Strange in Numbers, that would be 7.5. And we have extra melee damage from Tasty Mutant Hound Stew. Now it's the tasty foods that do the best melee damage. Tasty Mutant Hound Stew, Tasty Mutton Meat Pie, and Tasty Yaguai Roast. Those all give the same damage bonus, and they last for 1 hour. And you can see plus 170% damage from food. So that's definitely why you want to use food buffs if you are playing a melee character. We're using Tato Salad, give us a little bit of extra health, which helps. Mega Slaw Tenderloin gives us energy resistance. Now, the thing that's weird about Berserkers, you get the bonus is based on your ballistic resistance. So if your ballistic resistance is 0, you get the plus 50%, where your energy resistance doesn't matter at all. That can be as high as you can get it, and it won't affect your damage at all. So if we can get a little bit of extra energy resistance, why not? Ground Mole Rat for extra agility. That will definitely help us with our VAT situation and our AP. Broiled Scorched Beast Brain, a little bit of extra intelligence, extra experience, that's always good. Baked Bloatfly, extra rad exposure. I had it, so I ate it. Not that big of a deal. Aged Mirelurk Queen Steak, extra endurance, which means extra health, which means we can stay alive longer. And of course, we do have Company Tea. That is the best AP regen food in the game, and we definitely want that. We'll be relying heavily on AP, so having that come back as quick as possible is very important. And this weapon is actually the reason for this build. I had this in a stash box for quite a while. It was one of those things that dropped for me, and I said, well, that's really good. I wonder if it would actually work playing with no armor and a melee character. So this weapon is the reason for this build, so that's why I'm using it. I'm using a Berserker's weapon rather than a Vampire's weapon, because if you use that, that'll actually help you stay alive longer. But for me, the main reason to go Berserkers is to actually get the effect from that, or to get the benefit of that effect. So we are at 50%, we have 0 resistance, and this is faster swing speed and +1 strength. You can see we have no armor, and our damage resistance, the ballistic, is 0. Now, one note on apparel, and I'm gonna do something a little different on this one. So right now, I have the vault suit. It's just a regular vault suit, no lining, not giving us any benefit at all. So here's our weapon with no resistance. We are getting the full 50%, and our damage is 396. That's with food buffs and everything. What I'm going to do is use this shielded operative under armor. It's going to give me +3 strength. Now, it will give me some damage resistance, and the way that Berserkers works, as soon as your damage resistance is anything over 0, you start losing that benefit. It's a sliding scale, so even if your damage resistance is 1, you will lose a little bit of that bonus. But what's going to happen on here is the extra strength is going to give us extra damage, and that will more than offset the hit we take from having the 9 damage resistance. So with that equipped, you can see we are at 41% of a bonus, but our damage has gone from 396 to 410. So that extra strength is offsetting the hit we're taking from losing a little bit of our bonus. I actually think Secret Service would be a better option. Unfortunately, this character doesn't know the Secret Service plan, so the best I can do is the shielded operative one. So this will be my first time testing this character against robots. As you can see, I'm barely discovering Dire Chemical right now. I've done lots of things though. I've done boss events, I've done all kinds of stuff, and the survivability is actually pretty good, and the damage, you can see the damage is actually really, really good. But you can see Dodgy taking our AP, so this is a VATS build primarily, but there will be times, not only because the Deathclaw Gauntlet does take quite a bit of AP, I think the AP cost is 40, so you can't do that many hits anyway. Yeah, having that AP regen is very important, and okay, there's something, oh, there we go, down here. But we can still take care of stuff pretty well. Haven't used a stim pack. Oh, that is something else I forgot to mention. Let's take care of danger first, and I'll show you one detail I left out. So we are using super stim packs, and the reason I'm using those, because number one, they heal a lot more than a regular stim pack. So in Born Survivor triggers, it's going to get me back to full health. And also the healing is an extended period of time. So Born Survivor triggers once every 20 seconds. And when I was using regular stim packs, what I found was sometimes what had happened, not only would it not restore me to full health, my health had dropped down before that 20 seconds was over and it wouldn't trigger again. With these super stim packs, I haven't found that to be the issue. They stay in effect long enough that if my health drops to that range, like rather quickly, like maybe I have a group of enemies or something, Born Survivor will actually kick back in, and I've been discovered. And there's the Born Survivor I was talking about. Okay. All right, I had to do a little bit of manual healing there. I was caught in the middle of two gutsies. That will happen sometimes as well. I mean, this is not an indestructible character. This is not a tank by any stretch of the imagination, but we can typically get the job done with minimal amount of dying. When you're not paying attention to things, go into the pit boy. This doesn't stop the game from going, but we're still, you can see the damage is really good. Obviously, Deathclaw Gauntlet, that's kind of a top tier unarmed weapon. So that's really good, plus the 50% bonus on top of that. And yeah, the running, because of Dodgy, because that will happen very frequently. If you have a lot of enemies on you, your AP will just disappear and you won't be able to run. So at times that will be inconvenient. It's definitely not ideal, but anytime you're doing a build like this, there are going to be compromises. There are going to be weaknesses with the build. But for the most part, I played quite a bit on this character, and I gotta say, the number of deaths have been very minimal. Oh, we've got another one right here. Oh, two more. Okay. But so far, we're going through this area fairly easily. We had one close call, but for the most part, we're doing pretty well. But that is another reason I want to use the marathoner, rather. Just because we do, you know, I like to run a lot. I don't like to sneak really when I'm playing melee. And so I want to use up as little of the AP bar as I can, just in case Dodgy needs to do its thing. And also, I do like to do VATS. VATS is a very strong way to play melee, but this is one of those, as you can see, we're taking care of stuff rather quickly, but, yeah, there's a stim pack. You do want to have a lot of stim packs. That is definitely something with this build. This is not something you want to run around and be brave and not use stim packs. Otherwise, you'll just die constantly, and that does get rather old. When I was just using regular stim packs, I will say I did die quite a bit, actually, just because the regular stim packs. Now, maybe if you were using first aid, where the stim pack actually heals you more, that might actually help. But you can see we're carving up everything rather nicely. You can see our AP bar doesn't go down very much as we, oh, there we go. That took the rest of it. And now we can't run anymore. So just a regular attack, but our AP comes right back and he's dead. All right, now here's something else I haven't tried. I haven't tried a big enemy, so this is our chance. Nice big tanky enemy. Let's see how we do here. They can hit, yeah, these enemies can really eat right through your health. So this is one of those ones where you definitely want to, in fact, I may not want to, ooh, okay. There we go. But you can see my health and I'm dead. So this is the kind of build where probably if you're against enemies like this, you might want to carry, I mean, it's going to depend. Like if I'm in a boss fight, I'm not the only target and it's not that big of a deal, but where I'm basically the only target, maybe I want to switch into a vampire weapon or something. That would make a massive difference with my survivability. But as long as we can avoid getting hit, we just carve them up, and there we go. And now they're, oh, probably because of hack and slash, I aggroed them, and now they're hostile. Not the way I wanted to go, but we do what we need to do. Now, one note on foods before we go to the next area. I actually don't make any of the foods I'm using. So I go to a couple of places every time I join a server and just check for foods. One is Yasmin Chadri. She's got the, she will sell foods to you. So if you just tell her you want to buy some recipes, she does sell recipes, but she also sells food. It's random foods. So sometimes you'll get nothing you need, but other times you might get something good. Like for instance, Deathclaw Wellington, that's the best strength food. Every time I see that, I want to buy it. Aged Mirelurk Queen Steak, that's another one. It gives you a big boost to your endurance. And the other ally I'm told is Grandma Junko. I'm told she sells food as well. I haven't used her yet though, so I can't vouch for that one way or the other, but I've heard from a number of people that she does sell those good foods. And the other place I check is the White Spring Resort. Just go right up here around the corner and there is the restaurant. Now, if you've done the quest for the responders, you have our cook right here. What you want to do is basically just go here and sit down at one of the tables. Just sit in the chair. And once you do that, one of the waiters, or Miss Waitress, I think, or Mr. Waiter will come up to you and you have this trade menu. And again, we got lucky with a good food. Deathclaw Wellington. Yao Guai ribs, that is a melee food, but it's one of the lesser ones. But you take what you can get. So basically, this is how I stock up my melee characters. I don't actually make any food at all. I just check my camp ally, and I check here. And every time I join a server, and eventually I have all the foods I need, and the best foods as well. Now, unfortunately, I don't have anything that mitigates poison damage. So yeah, this is an area where I'm probably going to run into some amount of trouble. But if I can get away with fighting the Mirelurk Queen, my guess is I'm going to die at least. Oh, wow, she's out. That's unusual. Usually she's not out. Something, there must be something else here aggroing her, because usually the Blood Eagles aren't enough to, and hack and slash triggers. And I took out the Blood Eagle without hitting him at all, so, oh, that's interesting too. Usually you get a level 60 and a level 75. Of the Mirelurk Kings, but oh, there she is. Okay, we're gonna stem up before we. She can do a lot of damage, not just, and she'll stagger you as well. So I think my strategy with this is going to be just to run around her and try and keep away as much as possible. Look at that, she's going down. Oh, she's not max level because I'm not max level. So that encounter was actually much easier than it would have been if I was a higher level character. And we have a Scorch Beast, and it looks like it's a legendary one. So this could be a tough fight, I don't know. Need to get it to land. Have a lot of minions. Minions shouldn't be much of a problem. They typically aren't. It's just the bigger stuff that hits really hard that can be an issue. Tough place to fight though. Can't really see. Okay, there it's coming. Big shot from all over the place, and you can see the that breath attack is a lot. It doesn't. We don't seem to really have much of anything that'll. Take care of that, so we definitely need to get her to land. Let's see here. Can't really VATS her. I mean, I have concentrated fire, but I'm hoping I can cripple a wing. Need to get her to, okay. Oh, pat a wing. Hopefully we did a cripple job there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. If we can get her to, maybe? Oh, we got floaters. Oh, jeez. Okay. 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 All kinds of things breaking loose here. Oh, there she is. Can't VATS her for reasons. That happens. Okay. There we go. VATS her, get some hack and slash triggering in there. And we're actually doing really nice damage. I mean, that Berserker's effect is actually a pretty good effect. It's just the price you pay to make it work is kind of steep, but I think we're gonna get it done without dying. Well, how about that? Yeah, we did. This run actually went a lot better than I thought it was going to go. And there you have it, the Unarmed Berserker, a build that's actually been a lot of fun and really has performed a lot better than I thought it would. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit one of the buttons, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.